We really need to be versatile as a worship guitar player. At a moment's notice, we'll need to play some rhythm guitar, add lead lines, and create a bigger sound to fill some space. Also, quickly go to some ambient guitar sounds. Let me go over 3 techniques that will help you be a better worship guitar player. For rhythm and lead lines, a capo can hugely help. I was reluctant to use one for years, but this is a really great tool to go from just your basic chords at the bottom of the fretboard here to really moving up the same shapes, but you can just create a totally different sound. When you put a capo on it and get it in a higher register, it just has a totally different vibe, and really just is very inspiring for me to take these simple chords A, D, and E with the same shapes that we already know, but be able to play melody with those chords. Just that song we know and love, Goodness of God, we can create some simple lead lines that kind of hug the melody of the song. When it goes to the D chord, just that simple line, but when you play it with the chord, so 5, 4, open, but you're capoed in here. 5 on the B string, open G. You're playing an A note because of the capo. And you're back to the A chord when you do that. Playing the D chord. Back to the E chord. Just simple things like that can really add a lot to your playing. Another thing is hybrid picking. Hugely, I use this all the time because you get a different sound when you pluck up a little bit. I'm not talking about chicken picking like for country guitar, although that's the same technique, but literally just using the pick to play the bass note, the low note, and plucking up. I like to use my second and third finger most of the time. But I'm like, in this case, I'm just hitting the B and G strings at the same time as I hit down on the pick. And hitting the bass note each time. So now for the E chord, I'm hitting the D string here, which is an E note. Hugely, this helps with the hybrid picking, and even when you go up higher, I'm just hitting the high note with my third finger and hitting the lower note of whatever triad I'm using with the pick. Another thing we're called to do often is to really create a bigger sound with some rhythm, But a lot of times I'll use the same setting as I already have for my clean tone here. Like for this clean tone, I'm using the neck pickup on my Stratocaster here. Pretty clean on the edge of breakup. But if I go to the bridge without hitting any pedal, and then I can really rip into it if I turn my volume all the way up. So again, I just have my volume on 7 or 8 with this neck pickup, nice and clean. Bridge pickup, just inch it up a little bit to more like 8 or 9. So versatile to be able to set your sound up that way. I'll leave a link for my pedalboard breakdown I did recently so you can just kind of see how I'm getting some of these sounds. But I'm basically just using reverb here from the Strymon Big Sky. Just kind of a middle setting for me. Has and a little bit of delay you can hear there. Makes a washy kind of sound, kind of makes it real wide. These techniques will help you be a much more versatile player, but also, I mean, even with this capo, let's say, I'm in A right now. What if the worship leader needs to go to A flat? And it's so easy to make that change. You just have that at your fingertips, and the same thing. That helps me huge. I don't use this on every song, obviously, but I'm the only guitar player most of the time on our worship team, so this helps me. It gives me options because even though I'm capoed, I can still come up and use these triads up here. You still can walk down, use these open strings, and you can really dig into it with some dynamics with your bridge pickup. Always have some tools ready for your disposal, and using a capo, creating lead lines around some of those open strings is a great tool, but having those dynamics available so you can play a lead line, but be able to get to that ambient kind of clean sound very quickly, whether you do it with your pedal board, set your guitar up that way. But these are just some things I do every week on the worship team. I want to be inspired as I'm playing for our Father in heaven. So I want to know my gear and just be ready to let the Spirit move in the service. And this is exciting and fun for me. I hope it is for you too. And remember, God is good. Thanks for stopping by.